Rena walked carefully across the strange purple sands of the planet Veyra. The sky above glowed with green clouds, and two suns warmed the horizon. She adjusted her helmet and scanned the ground with her sensor. Ancient structures rose from the sand like giant teeth, and strange symbols covered their surfaces. This planet had been quiet for centuries, but Rena could feel its power. Humans had been exploring space for a long time, but the other species in the galaxy often ignored them. The Galactic Council, a group of powerful alien races, treated humans as small and weak. They thought humans were clever but not strong enough to matter. Rena had heard the stories many times. Aliens often joked about humans, calling them simple creatures from Earth. But Rena knew something the Council did not. Humans were creative, brave, and able to act in ways no one expected. She had grown up learning about Earth's history, about the explorers, scientists, and inventors who had changed the world. Humans survived on a planet with storms, earthquakes, and oceans that could swallow cities. They adapted and grew stronger. She smiled under her helmet because she knew humans had more to offer than the Council would ever guess. Rena carefully examined a broken pillar with strange markings. Her sensors beeped. The readings were unusual. She crouched and touched the stone with her gloved hand. Energy pulsed under her fingers, faint but powerful. She looked at the symbols again. They were not just decoration. They told a story of an ancient civilization that had once ruled part of this galaxy. This is incredible, Rena whispered to herself. She had been sent to explore, to gather knowledge for Earth Space Command. But this discovery could change how the galaxy saw humans. If anyone else understood this power, they might try to use it. Humans had to learn it first. Rena carefully collected samples and made notes. She checked her communicator. Rena to Earth Command. I have found something significant. Veyra has ancient energy sources. Analysis is underway. Her voice echoed slightly in the helmet. She knew the Council would not care about this report at first. Aliens often ignored humans' discoveries. They assumed humans were lucky or accidental. But Rena had learned to stay confident. Humans had survived against stronger enemies before. They could do it again. As she walked back to her small exploration vehicle, Rena thought about the Council meeting coming soon. Humans had been invited to a summit, but it was more of a formality than respect. The Council did not believe humans could contribute anything valuable. Many species saw humans as too unpredictable, too simple to handle real power. Rena shook her head. Humans were unpredictable, yes, but that was their strength. They could think differently, act boldly, and find solutions no one else could imagine. She remembered her grandmother's words, spoken long ago on Earth: humans survive not because they are the strongest, but because they can see what others cannot and act when others hesitate. The vehicle hummed as she entered it. Rena began to plan her next moves. She would gather more information about the energy source and the ancient civilization. She would bring proof that humans could understand and use knowledge no alien had yet mastered. The Council might forget humans sometimes, but that would not last. Later, back at Earth Command, Rena presented her findings. Taro, an engineer, and Mila, a pilot, listened closely. They were part of the human team sent to the summit. This could be exactly what we need, Taro said, studying the data. The Council underestimates us, but they will not ignore this for long. Mila nodded. It will show them humans are capable. We just need the right plan. Rena smiled. The humans had been underestimated for too long. Other species saw them as weak, but humans had survived harsh worlds, built incredible technology, and adapted in ways others could not. Now, the galaxy would start to notice. The sun set over Veyra, painting the sky in bright pinks and oranges. Rena looked out of the vehicle window. She felt excitement in her chest. This was the beginning of something new. Humans were ready to show the galaxy their true power. They would not wait for the Council to remember them. They would remind the galaxy themselves. Rena leaned back in her seat, thinking about the adventure ahead. The ancient structures waited silently, holding secrets that could change everything. Humans had the courage and creativity to uncover them. And soon, the galaxy would see that humans were not a species to forget. Rena closed her eyes for a moment and whispered, "It is our time." The human delegation arrived at the Galactic Council's headquarters, a massive structure floating above a bright blue planet. Tall towers glimmered with light, and ships from countless alien species moved in patterns that seemed like a dance. Rena, Taro, and Mila stepped out of their shuttle. They felt small among the towering aliens, but their heads were high. Humans were often underestimated, and this summit was another test of patience and courage. The council chamber was enormous. Delegates from dozens of species sat in circular rows. Some had long limbs, some had wings, some had glowing eyes. All of them whispered and stared at the humans. The council leader, a tall alien with silver skin named Ziller, addressed the room. "We welcome the human delegation. You may observe and participate, but remember, humans have little experience in council matters." Rena felt a spark of determination. Humans might have little experience with the council, but they had something no alien species had: creativity, courage, and the ability to act when others could not. The first challenge was announced. Each species would solve a problem designed to test intelligence and strategy. Humans were given a puzzle device with multiple controls and shifting lights. Ziller said, "You may begin. Remember, efficiency and precision matter." Taro examined the device. The lights blinked in patterns that seemed random. "It looks complicated, but I think we can solve it," he said. Mila leaned closer. "Aliens will try to follow rules exactly. Humans can think differently. That might help us." Rena smiled. Humans often succeeded by seeing solutions where others only saw limits. The team began their work. While other delegations tried to follow instructions exactly, humans experimented. They pressed buttons in unusual sequences, rotated parts, and tested combinations the aliens had not considered. The lights shifted and pulsed, responding to their actions. Ziller watched carefully. "Humans are unusual," he muttered. "Their method is not like any other species." After tense moments, the device clicked. A hidden compartment opened, revealing a crystal glowing with soft light. The humans had solved the puzzle in a way no one expected. Some alien delegates gasped. Others whispered. The humans looked at each other and grinned quietly. Taro said, "We didn't follow instructions exactly. We looked for possibilities." Rena nodded. Humans succeed by thinking, adapting, and taking risks. That is how we survive. The council was surprised. Even Ziller had to admit humans were clever. But many delegates still whispered behind their hands. Some were unwilling to accept that humans could match more experienced species. The humans had proven their skill, but the council was not yet ready to respect them fully. After the challenge, the council moved to the next agenda, a discussion on resource distribution among the planets. Humans were observers, but Mila took careful notes. She noticed patterns and strategies other species used, learning quickly. Humans might be underestimated now, but their learning ability was a hidden strength. During a break, Rena, Taro, and Mila walked in the observation garden, a place with glowing plants and streams of colored water. "The council does not see our potential yet," Rena said quietly. "But one day, they will. We just need the right opportunity." Taro nodded. "Our success in the puzzle already surprised them. If we can show them humans solve problems in ways they cannot even imagine, they will start to notice." Mila smiled. "It is about timing and courage. Humans do not follow rules blindly. We create our own path. That is what makes us strong." Rena looked at the glowing water. The reflection of the council building shimmered like a promise. Humans had the knowledge, the creativity, and the daring to make a mark on the galaxy. All they needed was a challenge worthy of their abilities. As the day ended, the council announced the final part of the human test. It was not another puzzle but a simulation of a real crisis, a rogue fleet approaching a neutral planet. Humans were observers again, but the aliens expected them to fail if they tried to act. Rena felt her heart beat faster. This was the moment humans could show their true strength. Unlike other species, humans did not rely only on rules. They used imagination, strategy, and bravery. If the council wanted to underestimate humans, they would soon learn that humans were not to be ignored. That night, the human team returned to their quarters. They reviewed data, planned strategies, and discussed possibilities. The other species might see humans as small and inexperienced, but the humans knew something very important: underestimation was their advantage. Humans thrived when others expected them to fail. They acted boldly, learned quickly, and solved problems in ways no one else could. Rena, Taro, and Mila felt ready. The galaxy might forget humans now, but humans would not wait to be remembered. They would prove their worth, and their time was coming soon. The stars outside the window shone like tiny sparks of hope. Rena looked at them and whispered, "They will see what humans can do. They cannot ignore us any longer." The human team watched the holographic projection in the council chamber. A neutral planet, Solaran, hovered in the blue light of the display. A rogue fleet of alien ships approached, their numbers far greater than Solaran's defenses. The council scrambled to respond. Alien leaders argued, sending fleets and giving orders, but coordination was slow. Each species acted in its own way, and the rogue fleet continued to move closer. Rena studied the projection carefully. Something about the fleet's pattern caught her attention. "They are not acting like a normal attack force," she said. "They are moving in groups that avoid detection and confuse the defenders. But they follow predictable paths if we can see them clearly." Taro leaned over. "That means we can predict their moves and prepare a strategy before the council does. We just need the right plan." Mila's eyes sparkled. "Then we should act. Humans are good at solving problems when others are confused." Rena turned to the council representatives. "We volunteer to help Solaran," she said calmly. Some alien leaders laughed quietly. Humans volunteering? They expected humans to make mistakes or be ignored. But Rena and her team were confident. Humans thrived when others underestimated them. Ziller raised his hand. "Humans, you may assist, but remember, this is a dangerous situation. Many species have failed before. Proceed carefully." Rena nodded. She did not fear danger. Humans were strong because they adapted and acted quickly. The humans arrived at Solaran in their sleek ship. The planet's surface was covered with tall forests and deep mountains. The rogue fleet hovered above, scanning for weak points. Mila piloted the ship, moving it smoothly through the clouds while Taro set up communication with the planet's defenses. Rena studied the terrain. The fleet is focusing on the open cities. But the mountains and forests can hide defensive units and give us an advantage. She quickly marked safe zones and choke points where the attackers could be slowed down. Taro smiled. We can use devices to create illusions and mislead their sensors. They won't know what's real and what's fake. Mila nodded. And I can guide our ships to distract them at key points while the planet's defenses strike. The humans began their plan. Small human teams moved swiftly, setting up devices that emitted false signals. They guided the planet's defense drones to strategic points. The rogue fleet responded to the signals, attacking the wrong locations and falling into traps humans had prepared. The council watched the operation from afar. Alien leaders whispered among themselves. Some looked concerned. No species had ever coordinated Solaran's defense so quickly or effectively. Humans were proving that thinking differently and acting boldly could achieve what rigid strategies could not. Hours passed, and the rogue fleet struggled against humans' clever tactics. Taro's devices confused their sensors. Mila's pilots guided attacks with precision. Rena coordinated communication between humans and Solaran's defenders. Slowly, the rogue fleet began to retreat. Ziller leaned forward. Impressive, he admitted. The humans are using intelligence and strategy in ways we did not expect. Their methods are unconventional, but effective. The humans had not only saved the planet but had done so without heavy losses. Solaran's leaders thanked them. The citizens cheered for the human team, seeing them as heroes. Rena, Taro, and Mila felt pride, but they also knew this was only the beginning. Back at the council, discussions changed. Alien delegates who had doubted humans now paid attention. They whispered about the humans' cleverness and daring moves. Some even suggested that humans be given a more active role in the council. Rena spoke quietly to her team. This is what I meant. Humans are underestimated, but when we act, the galaxy begins to notice. We have proven our skill, but we must continue to show them our strength. Taro nodded. Every step we take teaches them something new. Humans are not only smart, we are bold and resourceful. That combination surprises others. Mila smiled. And the council still does not fully understand us. That is our advantage. They are slow to adapt. Humans act faster. Rena looked at the stars beyond the council's window. The galaxy was vast, full of challenges, and full of species who believed humans were weak. But humans had something unique. They could think, adapt, and act when others hesitated. They could turn disadvantages into strengths. As the human team returned to their quarters, they received messages of thanks from Solaran's leaders. The planet was safe, and the citizens would remember humans as the ones who acted when others could not. Rena leaned back and whispered, "The council will remember this. They may have forgotten humans before, but they cannot ignore us now." The stars outside glimmered like reminders of the galaxy's vast opportunities. Humans had faced their first real test and had succeeded. Their courage, creativity, and quick thinking had saved the world. The galaxy was beginning to see that humans were not to be underestimated. And Rena knew this was only the start. Bigger challenges were coming, and humans would face them with the same intelligence and bravery that had always defined them. The council might doubt them today, but soon, humans would show their true might to the entire galaxy. The human team stood on the command deck of Solaran's main defense station. The rogue fleet had retreated, but there were still scattered enemy ships hiding in asteroid fields nearby. The council was debating what to do next, but their discussions were slow and full of disagreement. Humans did not wait. They had a plan. Rena studied the fleet's movements on the display. They are regrouping, but they are predictable if we act quickly, she said. We can lead them into a trap and protect the planet completely. Taro began assembling devices designed to confuse enemy sensors. They were simple by alien standards, but humans often succeeded with simple ideas executed cleverly. These devices will create multiple false targets, he explained. The fleet will waste time attacking empty space while we control the real points of engagement. Mila adjusted her pilot controls. I will guide our ships through the asteroid fields. We can use the terrain to our advantage. The fleet will not expect humans to act so boldly. The council watched closely, some aliens murmuring in surprise. Ziller leaned forward. The humans are acting without waiting for approval. It is unusual, but effective. Rena nodded to her team. Remember, we act together. Humans are strongest when we trust each other and adapt. Let's move. The humans split into small teams. Mila led the ships that would distract the rogue fleet. They darted among the asteroids, appearing and disappearing with lightning speed. Taro deployed his sensor devices across the battlefield. Each device emitted signals that mimicked the fleet's ships, confusing their scanners and making the humans seem everywhere at once. Rena coordinated communications. Move the drones to the left flank. The fleet is reacting to false signals. Push them toward the trap. Her voice was calm but firm. Humans worked with focus and creativity, solving problems in ways aliens had not considered. The rogue fleet reacted exactly as Rena predicted. They split into smaller groups, trying to attack what they thought were human ships and drones. Each group fell into the traps the humans had set. Solaran's defense drones struck with precision, disabling key enemy ships. The planet's surface defenses also joined in, guided by human strategy. Aliens in the council chamber whispered among themselves. No one had ever seen such coordination and clever tactics from a species considered small and inexperienced. Humans were proving that their strength lay not in size or raw power, but in intelligence, courage, and the ability to adapt. Hours passed, and the rogue fleet had no choice but to retreat completely. Solaran was safe, and not a single human ship was lost. The humans had achieved what the council could not do quickly. Ziller stood, addressing the room. The humans have acted decisively and effectively. They have saved Solaran with methods no other species used. Their intelligence and strategy cannot be ignored. Rena felt a quiet satisfaction. Humans had acted not for recognition, but because it was the right thing to do. Yet, the recognition was beginning to appear. Alien delegates who had doubted humans now nodded in respect. Some even started asking questions about human technology and tactics. Taro wiped sweat from his forehead. They never expected us to act this way. They thought humans would hesitate or make mistakes. Mila smiled. Humans think differently. We do not follow rules blindly. We find solutions where others cannot. Rena looked at the council chamber through the large observation window. The humans had made a difference. They had proven their value not by asking for respect, but by showing it through action. The council might have forgotten humans before, but they could not do so again. That evening, the human team returned to their quarters. Rena reflected on the day's events. This is only the beginning. We have shown the galaxy what humans can do when we act boldly and think clearly. But there is more to prove. Taro nodded. Every step we take surprises them. Humans succeed because we see possibilities others ignore. That is our advantage. Mila added, and we are just getting started. The galaxy underestimates humans, but we will show them our full strength soon. Rena smiled. The stars above Solaran glimmered like points of light, each one a reminder of the vast opportunities awaiting humans. Humans were clever, brave, and resourceful. They adapted when others failed, and they acted when others hesitated. The galaxy would soon understand that humans were a force to be reckoned with. As the team rested, Rena whispered softly, "We will not wait for the council to notice. Humans will remind the galaxy of our strength. It is our time to show them what we can do." The humans had saved a planet and outsmarted a powerful fleet. Their courage, intelligence, and teamwork had impressed even the most skeptical alien species. The story of humans would begin to spread across the galaxy, a tale of underestimated creatures proving that they were not only survivors but leaders. And Rena knew, with quiet certainty, that this was only the first of many victories to come. The galaxy had forgotten humans once, but the humans would make sure it would never happen again. The council chamber was unusually quiet. Alien delegates whispered among themselves, exchanging glances and comments about the humans. Rena, Taro, and Mila stood at the center, calm but alert. Today was not a test or a battle. It was a discussion on how to maintain peace across the galaxy. For most species, diplomacy was formal, rigid, and slow. Humans had another idea. Rena stepped forward. "We have observed the conflicts, the threats, and the weaknesses. Humans succeed when we combine courage, intelligence, and collaboration. We believe the Council can act faster and more effectively if we share our approach." Some delegates raised their heads in surprise. Many had doubted humans before, thinking them inexperienced. Yet, the humans spoke with confidence and clarity. They did not demand respect. They showed it through action and reasoning. Ziller, the council leader, looked thoughtful. "Explain your approach, humans. Show us why it differs from traditional methods." Taro took the holographic projector and displayed patterns of past conflicts. Many species react slowly, following strict protocols. Humans adapt and communicate quickly. We use creativity and problem solving together. For example, when Solaran was threatened, we coordinated small teams to act with flexibility. We did not wait for approval from every species. The result was success with minimal risk. Mila added, "We also consider the environment and the unexpected. Other species often ignore variables they cannot control. Humans use these variables as opportunities. That is why we act decisively when others hesitate." Several alien delegates whispered among themselves. Some nodded. Others looked skeptical but curious. No species had ever explained success in this way. Humans combined logic, observation, and intuition. They did not rely solely on rules or power. They relied on thought, courage, and cooperation. Rena continued, "Our methods are not just for battle or defense. They apply to diplomacy and decision-making. We help each species work together, understand each other, and solve problems before they become crises." A tall alien with shimmering wings spoke, "You suggest that humans can improve council decisions. How can a single species change centuries of tradition?" Rena smiled gently. "We do not change tradition. We show that thinking differently and working together brings results." Results that benefit everyone. The room grew silent as the council considered her words. For years, humans had been underestimated. Many species had forgotten their potential. But now, humans had not only saved a planet, outsmarted a rogue fleet, and acted boldly, they had also proven they could think clearly under pressure. The aliens could no longer ignore them. Ziller finally spoke. Humans have demonstrated skill, intelligence, and courage in ways few species achieve. Their actions on Solaran were not luck. They are deliberate and capable. The council will consider their ideas seriously. Rena nodded. She knew this was progress. Respect did not come immediately, but it was growing. The humans' achievements had opened doors. The council's doubt was fading. Taro looked at the other humans. They are starting to notice. Our approach works because we act, learn, and adapt. Humans are capable of more than the galaxy expected. Mila added, and we will continue to show it. The council will see that humans are valuable not only in battle but also in thought, strategy, and collaboration. Outside the council chamber, news of human success on Solaran had already begun to spread. Other species discussed how humans had acted decisively and creatively. Even young aliens whispered stories of the humans who had saved the world with clever tactics and bold ideas. That evening, the human team returned to their quarters. Rena looked out at the stars. This is only the beginning, she said. Humans have proven that courage, intelligence, and collaboration work. Soon, the galaxy will fully understand what humans can do. Taro smiled. Every step we take reminds the council that humans are not to be underestimated. They may have forgotten our might before, but they cannot forget again. Mila nodded. We show them by example. Humans do not wait for permission to act when the right thing must be done. That is our strength. Rena thought about the future. The galaxy was vast, with countless challenges and opportunities. Humans had already proven themselves capable in ways no other species could. Now, they would continue to act, solve problems, and lead where others faltered. The council might still hesitate to fully accept humans as equals, but humans no longer needed their permission. They acted boldly, thinking clearly, and achieving results. The galaxy was beginning to see that humans were not only survivors but innovators and leaders. As the stars twinkled above, Rena whispered softly to herself, "The council will remember us." Humans may have been underestimated, but now they see our true strength. The galaxy will never forget again. Humans had moved from being observers to being influential participants. Their courage, intelligence, and teamwork had begun to change the council's perception. The galaxy had started to see that humans were special, capable of achieving what others thought impossible. And Rena knew, with quiet confidence, that this recognition was only the first step toward even greater achievements for humanity. The Galactic Council was in chaos again. Two neighboring planets, Virilia and Kalira, were on the edge of war. Trade disputes had escalated into threats, and small skirmishes had already begun. Alien delegates argued, blaming each other and insisting on military solutions. The humans were called in as mediators. Many species doubted their ability, thinking humans were too simple to handle a diplomatic crisis of this scale. Rena, Taro, and Mila listened carefully to both sides. They observed not only what the aliens said but also how they acted. Humans had always relied on understanding behavior and motivation. They knew that words alone were not enough, action, empathy, and insight were equally important. Rena stepped forward. We can help both planets find a solution that benefits everyone. Humans succeed when we look beyond conflict and see the possibilities for cooperation. Some delegates laughed quietly, but Ziller, the council leader, allowed it. Humans, you may attempt mediation, but remember, failure may worsen the situation. Rena nodded. We understand. We will act with care and strategy. The humans traveled to the border between Viralia and Kalira. The tension was clear in the air. Soldiers on both sides kept watch, their eyes wary. But Rena did not feel fear. Humans had always thrived in difficult situations by observing, listening, and acting with purpose. Taro approached the leaders of Viralia. We understand your concerns, he said calmly. Humans have found that communication, compromise, and creative solutions often prevent unnecessary conflict. Let us discuss options that satisfy both sides. Meanwhile, Mila spoke to Kalira's leaders. Your concerns are valid. Humans can help both sides see the other's point of view. By understanding each other, we can avoid unnecessary fighting and achieve a solution that benefits both. Hours passed as humans moved between the two sides. They listened carefully, asked thoughtful questions, and suggested solutions that had never been considered. Humans did not impose their will. Instead, they guided the leaders to understand each other and find common ground. Rena noticed that small gestures mattered. A shared meal, a clear explanation of intentions, and acknowledging fears and needs helped reduce tension. Humans were patient but decisive, showing that even in tense situations, calm action could achieve results. Back at the council, Ziller watched closely. The humans are acting with precision and empathy. Their methods differ from our usual protocols, but they are effective. By the next morning, progress had been made. Viralia and Kalira agreed to a temporary trade agreement, monitored by neutral observers, and promised to continue discussions under the guidance of the human mediators. The conflict that threatened to escalate into war was now controlled. Rena, Taro, and Mila returned to the council chamber to report. Rena spoke confidently. Humans do not rely on fear or force alone. We combine understanding, strategy, and collaboration. That is how we prevent conflicts and achieve lasting results. The council delegates listened in silence. Many were astonished. Humans had not only managed to stop a potential war but had done so using reasoning, empathy, and strategy. They had acted boldly, decisively, and with creativity. Ziller finally spoke. The humans have demonstrated qualities that the council has often overlooked. Intelligence, courage, collaboration, and insight. Their approach is unconventional, but it works. The galaxy should pay attention. Taro smiled quietly. This is what I hoped for. Humans are being seen not only as survivors or explorers but as leaders and problem solvers. That is our true strength. Mila nodded. Other species are learning that humans act differently. We do not follow rules blindly. We think, adapt, and guide situations toward solutions. That surprises many, but it is effective. Rena looked out of the council chamber window at the stars. The galaxy was full of challenges, but humans had proven they could meet them. They had saved planets, coordinated defenses, and now prevented war. Their courage, intelligence, and adaptability had earned respect that humans had long been denied. The council's attitude was changing. Humans were no longer dismissed or ignored. Other species whispered about their skill, courage, and creativity. Humans had shown that being underestimated could be an advantage. The galaxy was beginning to recognize that humans were not just capable, they were extraordinary. Rena whispered to her team, "This is the moment we prove humans are not to be forgotten." Our courage, intelligence, and collaboration make us strong. We act when others hesitate, and that is our might. Taro and Mila nodded. Humans had gone from being doubted to being respected. They had faced impossible situations and solved them with insight and bravery. The galaxy had finally begun to understand the full measure of human potential. The stars twinkled beyond the council chamber like witnesses to humanity's rise. Humans had shown their true might, not through force alone but through courage, creativity, and wisdom. The time of being underestimated was over. The galaxy would remember humans from now on. And Rena knew, with confidence and pride, that the humans' journey had only just begun. Greater challenges awaited, but the humans had proven that no problem was too complex, no threat too great, and no council too arrogant to ignore their true power. The Galactic Council chamber was filled with a new sense of respect. Alien delegates who had once doubted humans now watched carefully. Rena, Taro, and Mila stood at the center. Humans had faced impossible challenges, solved problems, prevented conflicts, and saved planets. Today, the Council would officially recognize their achievements. Ziller, the Council leader, rose from his seat. His silver skin reflected the light of the chamber. The humans have acted with intelligence, courage, and insight beyond what many species believed possible. Their actions have saved lives, prevented wars, and guided the galaxy toward cooperation. The Council formally acknowledges humans as equals and valuable members of this community. The chamber erupted in whispers. Some aliens were surprised, some impressed, but all could see the truth. Humans had proven their worth not by seeking recognition but through action, strategy, and bravery. Rena stepped forward. We did not act to gain recognition. Humans act because it is the right thing to do. We survive, explore, and solve problems because we care for our world and the galaxy. We hope our actions inspire cooperation and trust among all species. Taro added, our strength is not in fighting or rules alone. It is in courage, creativity, teamwork, and the ability to adapt. That is what makes humans capable of facing challenges no one expects us to meet. Mila smiled. And humans will continue to act. We learn from every experience, grow stronger, and find solutions when others hesitate. That is our true power. The council members began to nod. Alien delegates approached, some with questions, some with congratulations. They wanted to learn from humans, to understand their strategies, and to see how they had achieved what no other species could. Rena, Taro, and Mila felt a quiet pride. Humans had been underestimated for centuries, but now the galaxy could no longer ignore them. Their actions had reshaped the perception of humanity. The galaxy had finally remembered humans, and the recognition was lasting. Outside the chamber, news spread quickly. On distant planets, species discussed the humans who had prevented war and solved problems with intelligence and courage. Stories of Rena, Taro, and Mila became examples of what humans could achieve. Young aliens listened in awe. Leaders began consulting humans for advice. The influence of humanity was growing. Back on their ship, Rena looked at the stars. Humans have always survived in difficult situations. We adapt, learn, and act. That is why the galaxy should not forget us. We have shown our might, and now it will be remembered. Taro leaned back in his seat. We have proven that humans are capable not only of surviving but of leading and guiding others. Our creativity and courage have changed minds. Mila added, other species have begun to respect humans. They see that we act differently, think differently, and achieve results differently. That is our strength. The ship flew silently through space, past planets and stars, each one a reminder of the vast galaxy humans now influenced. They were explorers, leaders, problem solvers, and innovators. The Council had once forgotten their might, but humans had reminded the galaxy in ways no one could ignore. Rena smiled. This is just the beginning. There are still worlds to explore, conflicts to prevent, and challenges to face. Humans will continue to show their courage, intelligence, and collaboration. The galaxy will remember us not just for what we have done, but for what we will continue to do. Taro nodded. Every action humans take, every problem we solve, every life we protect, reminds the galaxy of our unique abilities. That is our legacy. Mila looked out at the stars. We have shown that humans do not wait for permission. We act boldly, think clearly, and adapt quickly. That is why we succeed where others hesitate. Rena felt hope and excitement. The galaxy had seen humans at their best. They had faced danger, solved problems, and guided peace. They had proven that courage, intelligence, and teamwork were greater than size or power alone. Humans had reminded the galaxy that being underestimated was not a weakness but an advantage. The stars stretched endlessly before them, promising more adventures, discoveries, and opportunities. Humans had shown their true might, and now the galaxy would always remember. The underestimated species from Earth had risen, not through force alone, but through insight, creativity, and courage. As the ship moved forward into the unknown, Rena whispered, "Humans will continue to shine. The galaxy has remembered us, and we will ensure it never forgets again." The Council, the planets, and the galaxy now saw humans not as small or weak, but as powerful, capable, and essential. The story of humans had been rewritten. They were leaders, innovators, and heroes in the eyes of the universe. And so, humanity's place among the stars was secure, built on courage, intelligence, and the simple but extraordinary power of never giving up.